So this, it's always rather funny to me when I get commissioned through Patreon to review something that I'm like, what, really? Me? You want me to? Okay. And that's sort of the case here. So welcome to my first ever song review. So, somebody decided to use their commission slot to have me listen to Disturbed's cover of Sounds of Silence, which I hadn't heard before. I am well familiar with the Simon & Garfunkel original. It's a classic, and deservedly so. Now, if you don't know Disturbed, their style of music you wouldn't think it would lend itself to something as stripped down and as simple is the wrong word, but sort of lacking in frills as Sounds of Silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I mean, if you don't remember their songs, or if you're young versus me, that's what they're known for. So I had no idea what I was going to get going into this. It's pretty good though. It does a smart thing because generally, like, first of all, doing covers at all there's kind of an art to it. It's not just enough to take an existing song and redo it in your style. That in and of itself doesn't always work, because if your style doesn't complement the kind of song that it is, or if your style isn't different enough from a better known version. And that's kind of where this becomes an interesting thing, because like I said, the original Sounds of Silence is so pared down, and it's just a couple of voices in the guitar, whereas the amount of pomp and circumstance that Disturbed puts into it,
People talking without speaking,
really does give it a completely different feel, which means you're able to experience it honestly without even comparing it to the original that much, because it's so vastly different in terms of its approach. It feels wrong to compare it to the original. And I actually think generally that's a good way to do a cover. It needs to be different enough that people, the most they're going to express compared to the original is like a personal preference. But if you make something that sounds too close to how it is done in a more famous version, well, the comparison's almost never going to be in your favor when you do that. So that was a solid approach. Now, here's something I am going to recommend. So when I listened to this song, I found it on YouTube because I have Spotify, but I'm used to going to YouTube. It's kind of my default. So if you haven't heard the song before and you want to experience it at its best, allow me to recommend that you skip the official music video and opt instead for the live performance that was done on Conan O'Brien. Both are up and viewable on YouTube. Here's the reason. Now, I want to be clear. It's not the sort of distinction that you would usually get from the studio version versus the live version, which is that it's way more pared down, because if that was the case, well, then it would be a lot like the original. It's not. It's still got all of the very sizable orchestration that they do with this, but I think the vocal performance is better, and also visually, the video threw me off. Especially, I don't know the frontman's name from Disturbed, but when he had parts of the song where he was looking directly into the camera and pulling this face, it pulled me out of what he was doing vocally a bit. Whereas the live performance, he was just there in the moment. And it just sold a lot better. And also, there's a little bit less of the, well, late 90s, early 2000, kind of thing. You know, the Creed, the Lifehouse, that kind of thing. He does that way less in the live version. I don't want to make it sound like it overwhelms the official version or the video version, but it's there more, and I don't care for it. I really kind of never have. Even like I was of age listening to pop music when that sound was like a big thing, and I've never really liked it with only a couple of random single song exceptions over the years. So having less of it is going to be a good thing. And I just think it's a more cohesive vocalization. It doesn't feel as strained in a way, but both are quite good. And as I said, the key to any good cover is going to be bringing something very new to the table. And yeah, as somebody who kind of balked at the very concept of a cover of Sounds of Silence at all, much less by a band like Disturbed, yeah, that's a good piece. I'm still a little confused as to why you would ask me to review it. I mean, I can't break it down. I don't have any kind of background in music to be doing that, but I'm glad I've heard it. It's well done. So yeah, if you want to commission me to review whatever, you can do so at my Patreon. You get benefits at every support tier, and of course the usual stuff, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, yada, 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 yada. No big pressure on that, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break.